Hello and welcome, everybody. I think John has wrapped it up over there, so let me kill that feed on there. I appreciate you all showing up tonight. A lot of the hashtag community. Huge thank you to John for sending everybody this way. And Rack River Life, I can't thank you enough for giving me the opportunity to fill in on your time slot tonight with the time slot takeover. I love the fact that you did that, and I really think the hashtag community fits well, given what you're doing. Because, like John said, it's a wonderful time slot, and you're giving a lot of people an awesome opportunity. So, thank you very, very much for that. For those of you that have not seen us before, I am James, Fish from Fever, and my co-host Chattanooga Ed, who also has his own YouTube channel. So be sure to check him out. He's got some awesome videos. We are kind of doing a pay it forward thing. Typically, I would be going on live with Ed in 2 hours from now. But since we are taking Rack's spot, Daniken Aquatics is going to be going on in our time slot. So be sure to hang out with him later on tonight in what would normally be our time slot for the Nocturnal Feeding Show. He's going to have a great show. And if anybody knows if Chris Multi-Tank Addiction got a fill-in, he generally goes at 11:30 Eastern Time, about an hour from now. So, again, huge thank you to Rack. I appreciate that. If somebody would throw his link in the chat, just in case there's somebody in here that does not know about his channel, that would be very, very much appreciated. River Life has got an awesome channel. He's a great guy, does wonderful art. He's also somewhat local to Ed and myself. So I've gotten the opportunity to meet him before, and you couldn't meet a nicer guy. So again, thank you, Rack, very much for that. A couple things that I wanted to talk about tonight, and one of them, we've already got some people jumping on board. The big announcement for tonight that I had mentioned in the community post earlier was that memberships got approved. I know financially it's a tough time for some people, so please don't feel bad if you can't do that or don't want to do that. It is not going to impact or affect what I would typically upload to the channel. And I'm not going to go through all the tiers tonight. I'm going to release a separate video for that. And we can talk about that more on the Saturday Night Fever stream, Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But that was approved today, so I did go ahead and activate that. And I want to say thank you very, very much to the Zen Ginger, who actually came in as a new member at the top level, the Zebra Pleco level. And thank you to, I think it was Jess the Shrimp Granny. See if I can find it again. There it is.
Yes.
Jess the Shrimp Granny came in. StreamYard's not going to tell me. Let me pull the other chat up.
I hope you have a shrimp level, because that would be awesome.
I did all Pleco themed.
Okay.
Given that that's my logo and that's kind of my favorite fish. So we went with bristle nose snowball, blue phantom, leopard frog,
do bristle nose first?
I did. Bristle nose is
That's
the
smart,
entry level.
because no girl wants to be a bristle nose. That's funny. And I'm just teasing if any girls became bristle nose.
Welcome, Jess Shrimp Granny, to the snowball level. I appreciate that. And there are going to be some special perks for that. Like I said, it's not going to take away from anything that I would typically put on the channel. So don't feel like I'm depriving you of something that I would normally have put on. Priscilla MK Art joined at Bristle Nose and then upgraded to Blue Phantom. Thank you very much, Priscilla. I appreciate you doing that. Very awesome of you all. Very, very much appreciated. I think we're going to have some fun with some of the members only stuff. So thank you all for that. And thank you for everybody who has supported the channel and has gotten us to that point. The other thing I wanted to do was thank everybody for watching. I had a video that I put out. I didn't even have 100 subscribers at the time, and I don't even talk in the video. It's just music and my piranhas eating, and that is actually my very first video to reach 1,000 views. That just happened earlier in the week. I did have a live stream with Bob Steenpot and John from KG, which was really awesome. It's 5 hours long, so if you're wanting something to stream at work, that's a great stream. That one hit 1,000, but the piranha video was my first video to actually hit 1,000 views, just something I uploaded without, I guess you could say, piggybacking on anybody else. So thank you very, very much for that. Got a couple other things to talk about tonight, but I'd like to turn it over to Ed so he can kind of give us an update on his fish room, because I know that's been coming along nicely.
Well, actually, Sand Creek just became a member too.
I see that.
And I do a video, or I'm his co-host with him every Monday night. at 10 o'clock or 10:30. I think it's 10 o'clock. It's Eastern.
Absolutely. Nathan, Sand Creek Aquatics, thank you very, very much for that. I hope you were doing well tonight. It's always a pleasure to see you.
Yep. Well, my fish room's coming along great. Today I was trying to find Ethernet to because I want to be. It's also going to be my studio, and my router does not send enough wavelength to it, so I can't run from my fish room right now. And while the ceiling's all undone and everything, I wanted to try to run that. And doggone it, I went all over Cleveland. That's the hometown of Bob Kaler. Awesome videos to go see him. Check out his videos.
Absolutely.
But Ant, he just hit a big milestone. He hit the hour marks. He had awesome giveaway yesterday on Dan's Fish. But nevertheless, so I want to run Ethernet so it'll go through the flooring and come straight down. And I need 100 feet of it. I went to Electronic City, I think is what it's called, or it's some electrical place there in town. Oh, Ginger Graves just became a member. Oh, and I think Pet Zotic.
Yep, Pet Zotics. Diego did as well. Welcome, Pet Zotics to Bristlenose and Ginger Graves to Bristlenose as well. Thank you all very, very much. And I do want to say something else about the memberships after Ed. So
It's normally we don't have so much excitement going on.
Well, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's way cool. But yeah, so I went all over Cleveland and went everywhere, and the longest cable I could find was 50 foot. So tomorrow I'm going to head to Hickson and see if I can find it there, or I'm going to check. I'm going to see if Amazon shipping now, because James said that he got something on Amazon.
I did.
Came to him. But like I ordered some guppy books, and they're still scheduled to come in on the 24th. So I don't know.
And I want to bring that up because it does kind of play into the videos. I ordered the adapter for my new phone so that I can plug my mic into it and shoot videos on the new phone, because I've not been able to do that yet. And I bring that up just for John of KG Tropicals, because I can finally shoot some 8K videos. And I know how much he's going to shake his fist when I say 8K videos. I'm not going to upload an 8K because that would be ridiculous and it would be crashing people's computers out trying to watch it. But I had to pick on him a little bit. If you need me to
make some and then send them to him.
Absolutely. I'd be happy to look around up here for some Ethernet if you need me to. One thing I wanted to mention before I get too far away from the memberships, I would be a schmuck if I didn't, especially given that he's given us the time slot for the night. For anybody that doesn't know, and I also haven't formally gotten to say, congratulations to Rack at the River Life, who recently got memberships. So I wanted to mention that and say congratulations to him. He's got some awesome stuff going on over there. As soon as I found out that he had members, I jumped on there myself. So that's I'd encourage you to do so if you like his content, which I think you will if you go check him out, for anybody that has not already.
Yeah, Rack is just a super cool guy.
He is. He really is.
All around good guy.
Yeah, I would have felt bad had I not brought that up, and I didn't want to jump all the way back to it at the end. I do want to say I've got some guppies coming in tomorrow that I ordered from a gentleman that I hadn't really seen anywhere else. So I'm going to be doing an unboxing video on that. And I'm really looking forward to it because he's actually sent me 2 different strains. I ordered a strain, and then he actually threw in some free ones of a different strain. So I'm really looking forward to that. I think that's going to be a great video, and they're just absolutely gorgeous fish. So I'm looking forward to getting those in the area, and I'm sure that some will be moving into your fish room down the road once I get them breeding well.
That'd be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I've got 6 packages to mail out tomorrow to people. I was supposed to do it at the beginning of the week, and things just keep happening. Like today, I never thought I would be searching for hours for Ethernet. And, you know, so by the time I got to the home to be able to mail that stuff, I want it to be fresh and ready. Tomorrow, I promise I'm going to get all the guppy grass boxes out to the guys that asked for it. And I got a thing for Big J also. He wants a couple of my stickers, so I'm going to send him some stickers.
Absolutely. I just had something catch me funny. KG Sicklet said everyone's spending their stimulus on super chats and memberships. I have noticed that the super chats have kind of come back, so to speak, in the past couple days, just being in other people's live streams. So I thought that was kind of neat. And like I said, I know it's a bad time financially for a lot of people, so please don't feel obliged to do so if it's going to hurt you. That's the last thing I want. You know, we were given the opportunity to do it, and that's why we opened it up to everybody.
It's killed me because I enjoy giving them, and since my credit card got hacked a week ago, I've been waiting for a new one to come back in. Crazy. But I lost nothing, so that was good. Just scary when somebody steals your credit card.
Oh, yes, definitely. Glenn F. saying, hello from New Zealand. I'm doing the Triple Threat Aquarium Co-op, KG Tropical, and now you guys. Spending my Friday on the couch, LOL, loving live fish stream channels. Absolutely. And generally, Rack from River Life would be on right now. Chris from Multi-Tank Addiction would follow for an hour, and then Ed and myself go for 2 hours after that. So Thursday night / Friday morning here, and then Friday in the day, because you're a bit ahead of us there, is jam-packed with about 6-7 hours of live streams back to back. So it's an awesome day if you're available to be able to catch some cool fishy stuff going on.
And tonight, Danikin will be filling in. Did you already say that? Danikin will be filling in on our spot. So definitely check him out, because he is an awesome guy with an amazing house of fish.
He is.
And I think that you can safely say a house of fish.
Yes, absolutely. The Zen Ginger, thank you for the $1 super sticker with the 100 there. Appreciate that very, very much. Always a huge supporter of the channel, not just monetarily or financially, just in general, a great supporter, and I always appreciate having you around. Petzotics wanting to know what is on your shirt, Chattanooga Ed?
Oh, well, it's one of my dorky type shirts. Normally, I like to wear fish shirts, but I'm wearing a Abraham Lincoln riding a bear with a machine gun, and probably the Second Amendment. I don't know, something, the Bill of Rights, something in his hands.
Oh, and Sir Pronal, my apologies. Sir Pronal is usually on earlier in the day as well, and Madfish Diva too. I'm always going to forget somebody, and I always feel bad. I do actually have a list of everybody that streams every day. Well, I say everybody. Most people, to my knowledge, or that have contacted me that live stream fish channels. I've got all of that scheduled out on my website so that you can pull that up and take a look if you're ever looking for somebody to watch. Pam says Chris isn't streaming tonight either. Okay, I didn't know if he had gotten a replacement or not. I know he had asked me at one point if I wanted to fill in for him, and I mentioned that I was already doing Rack's time slot, and I didn't want to be greedy. I was hoping he'd find somebody that would take his hour following us. So I guess we will play it by ear. If there is somebody that's going to jump on at 11:30 Eastern time, about 45 minutes from now, please let me know. Be happy to send people your way to fill that gap.
For sure.
If nobody's going to pop on, I suppose we could extend this out a little bit longer to help close the gap in, and possibly Kenny might want to start earlier and end earlier if he wants to do that.
Yeah, Tampa Tom says he likes my shirt. I like anything really dorky, and when you got Abraham Lincoln on it, I'm gonna. I got this one and a Godzilla cat fighting a robot. So at the same time, just weird stuff. Sorry to change.
Oh no, you're fine, Ed. You're perfectly fine. That's kind of the theme of our show, is we just kind of bounce around topic to topic and keep it flowing. Joe Coffey says Fish Room Fever and Ed, Home Depot stocks Cat 5 cable. You can order it online tonight and pick it up from a locker in the morning. So there you go. If you can't get a hold of it before that, or I guess before that, if you can't find it where you're looking for it, order it online at Home Depot and do the pickup option there. Priscilla,
be my next stop tomorrow in Hickson was going to be the Home Depot, and it's also it's very close to one of the new local fish stores, and I was going to pick up some guppies and some mono fish if they have any, or mono shrimp.
Very, very nice. Priscilla MK Art with the $2 super chat. It's a paycheck with the money bag. Thank you very much, Priscilla. Another awesome creator and supporter of the channel. I appreciate that, and it's always good to see you. Roll back through here.
You had another member. You have Danikin just joined.
All right, you are doing a better job staying on top of it than I am. Hello,
and then Ginger gave us a 99 cents sticker, but unfortunately, I can't see what the sticker looks like because I'm in StreamYard.
There it is. Danikin Aquatics, welcome to Snowball. Thank you very much, Kenny. If you do want to come on and do an earlier time so that you can get done a little earlier, please let me know. However you want to work it out, or if somebody else wants to hop on, just let us know. We'll be happy to accommodate / support anybody that wants to work something in there. Zen Ginger, thank you for the $2 super chat. Says happy stimulus, y'all, with the crying, laughing face. And Aquariums maintained by Andy. Thank you also for the $2 super chat. Says thank you guys. No, thank you, because I mean, this is, Ed and I could sit here all day and talk to each other on camera, but it's not the same without you all showing up. So our goal is always to provide, some education and entertainment and just give you all good value. So thank you very much.
I don't know if we've had an aquatic question yet.
I haven't seen one. I've been watching the chat just to be sure. Let's see. John Larson just got done walking the husky. Awesome. Beautiful dogs. Recon 338 and the Zen Ginger putting in that mod work, dropping links in the chat. Thank you very much for that. And you all feel free to run the River Life's link at any point you want to throw it in there. That way we can make sure that he's fully supported. I can't thank Rack enough for letting us pop in on his time slot. It's very, very awesome.
Normally I always know the dates of the $1 per gallon sale, but because I've been kind of quarantining myself, like today was like the first time I've come out in 2 weeks. I don't know. Is it still running? Priscilla would like to know.
Yeah, I honestly do not know. I could probably look that up here in just a second and find out for sure. Petzotics. Oh, and by the way, if you do have a question, you want to make sure either one of us sees it, you can highlight our names by putting the @ symbol in front of Fish Room Fever or Chattanooga Ed. We'll be happy to grab those questions or comments out of the chat. Diego at Petzotics says, you're the first channel I ever joined. You're a good guy and glad to support you. Thank you very much for that, Diego. Another awesome channel, and he's also got an online shop. I've done some business with him. He's a great guy as well. So thank you very much for that, Petzotics.
Do you know, has Haley picked anything off of Teespring yet?
Not to the best of my knowledge.
Because when she does, I want to send out the 2 tapes to LRB at the same time. Just throwing that out there.
Absolutely. So Nathan says, losing motivation with my 20-gallon long. It's a guppy tank with 2, it says calories. I'm sure that was an auto fill-in word. And a bristle nose. Can either of you two suggest another type of fish I can keep in my 20 long, willing to rehome my guppies?
Probably 2 Corys.
You could put some Corys in there. You could do some small tetras.
I bet he meant 2 Corys and it auto-corrected.
Oh, gotcha. Yep, that would make sense. I've got, so kind of my preferred 20 long setup is a breeding pair of bristlenose, and then cherry shrimp, and then some guppies in there. Yes, there's some predation, but I can also grow plants in there. So I've got, bristlenose breeding, shrimp breeding, guppies breeding, and then I'm harvesting usually Java moss out of the tank as well. But I do have another tank that I set up. That was the first dirted tank I did on a live stream with Father Fish, and it has got some tetras in it. I can't recall the name, but I basically went albino themed in that tank. So it's got blue-eyed lemon plecos. It's got 2 of them in there. Just made babies the other day, so I've got some little baby blue eyes swimming around in there. I was real happy because awesome. I picked that male and that female out of a tank at the pet store and was hoping that they would get along, and they sure enough did. And then I've got a couple of albino Corys in that tank. And then I've got some, they're not albino tetras, but they look albino. They're a white tetra, and I cannot recall the name of them to save my life at the moment. Bob Kaler's Aquatics would know, because I actually picked him up for him. And then things happened with us meeting up, and they ended up having a permanent home in that tank. So So you could do something like that with some smaller tetras. A nice little school of CPDs would be pretty in there. I'm trying to think of some things that are just not guppies.
Why would you want to think of anything that's not guppies?
I know, right? Well, I mean, that was the question.
I mean, any of the tetras are awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, every tetra, I love them all. It's crazy. The only ones I haven't ever really had were the Penguins, and I just got those, and now they're kind of like one of my new favorites.
Right. And I mean,
I think they should be changed to hockey sticks.
Nathan, you could add some cherry shrimp in there if that is something that possibly might interest you. The guppies do predate some on the shrimplets, but they still multiply quick enough that you end up having a decent amount in there, and they don't pick off the larger ones in my experience. The guppies don't pick off the larger shrimp, that is. Another thing you could do that I found is sometimes just rescaping the tank kind of invigorates or re-excites me with that tank. So you could potentially keep the same fish, do a different scape, maybe add some plants to it if you're not doing plants in it, and just give it a new look. Give the fish some new places to swim, some new things to check out, and that may do the trick for you as well.
Shrimp are huge. I mean, they're such good cleaners. They reproduce like crazy, and like I've never seen a guppy even eat one of my shrimp. I imagine though that the babies are eating the shrimplets, but the larger things, like I've seen my mollies destroy a shrimp. But the guppies just ignore them. They're just all part of the family. So I would definitely go with shrimp. I love shrimp. The only thing is if it's we should have asked what his temperature is.
Yeah, which I found that my shrimp do well in a wide range of temperatures. I mean, I've got sub tanks and they're kind of similar to the guppies. And, if you heat them up, they're going to breed quicker with a shorter lifespan. If you keep cooler, they're going to live longer, but they're not going to breed as often. But I found that they can do well in a fairly decent range of temperatures. Generally, unless you're heating that tank up probably beyond what a guppy would really be comfortable in, you should be okay with shrimp. So I guess what I'm trying to say is generally the parameters to keep a guppy happy, you should be able to keep a Neocaridina shrimp happy.
Yeah.
Mark on Wisco.
Some people like to keep their guppies in the 80s because they produce so much more.
Yeah, that's true.
And you're going to get like half the lifespan out of those shrimp. But still, the shrimp are going to be producing like crazy because it all works out.
You're absolutely right on that. Mark von Wisco, 715 Aquaristic. I think you've added the 715 part. I may be wrong, but I think that's a new addition. Says, Chattanooga had fish room fever. I have 10 rummy nose tetras. About half of them are starting to get chunky. Have either of you ever bred them? I have not done any tetra breeding. If JH Aquatics is around, I know he's breeding some tetras. I'm sure we've got a couple people in the chat that have done some tetra breeding, but that was the first name that came to mind. But I personally have not bred any tetras at this point. It's mostly been different variations of plecos, guppies, piranhas, some different cichlids, but I haven't done any tetras.
Well, if you've done piranhas, you've done tetras.
Well, yeah. I mean, technically speaking, yes, you are correct. Absolutely.
It's the biggest, hardest.
Yeah, I just can't. I think most of them, from my understanding, a lot of the tetras want to go upside down and spawn on the underside of floating plants and things of that nature.
Or they're egg scatterers, and a lot of them will use moss to do that. The thing is, the hardest part of tetras is just feeding the babies. You got to have super small food. So you're going to have vinegar worms and micro worms and things like that to keep the babies to grow.
Absolutely. Danikin Aquatics says that he will go at 11:30. So that'll be about 35 minutes from now. We will turn it over to him. You scroll through here. I know I'm getting behind in the chat. Try and catch up here, but I don't want to jump over any questions or comments. Aquariums maintained by Andy says, White Cloud minnow fry keep hatching, but the numbers drop fast. I feed a fry powder after 3 days. Any pointers, ammonia 0, nitrite 0, Nitrate is never over 7, pH of 6.8.
And what was that?
That was for white cloud minnow. The fry are hatching, but the numbers drop quick. They're dying off fast. He's feeding a fry powder currently.
And who was that asked?
Aquarium is maintained by Andy.
Uh,
Another great channel.
Griff, he does a lot of the white clouds, so he might know if they're a soft water or hard. I have never had white clouds. I plan on getting them here in another year or so, but I have not had them yet. So, but I do know that Griff he raises them and spawns them. So, okay, he says, Andy, I can help you. So that's cool.
Perfect. I appreciate that very much. I jumped over it when I was scrolling through. The Zen Ginger with the $2 super chat says, baby blue eyes, now I have to wait longer. Yes, then I will definitely make sure that you get the first of the baby blue eyes before those get offered to anybody else. But given that they started breeding within a week of being in the tank, is that a train?
Yeah, I got a train that it's literally a mile away, but I'm like kind of on the side of a mountain and the train's at the bottom of it, so it just radiates up.
I just wanted to make sure I wasn't causing an audio hum.
Yes,
thank you very much for the no problem for the $2 super chat, and we will definitely get you some blue-eyed lemon babies. Bob Kaler says, James, that reminds me, I've really taken a liking to the art Sarah posted with mine, willing to give half of it up. Well, I think that part of what got sent to you was some art for the Zen Ginger, so we'll have to talk about that, Bob. But that may be something that we could arrange, as long as it's not art that was promised to Zen. See, there we go. Aquarium is maintained by Andy. That was the white clouds. Young Fish Aquatic says, hey, Fisherman Fever, my fire mouth is being aggressive towards my jack. What should I do? My Oscar is also a bit aggressive. So generally, the first thing that I will do is, and I usually do it during a big water change because you tend to stir stuff up that maybe you haven't stirred up if you don't move your decor a lot. First off, if you don't have decent decor in there to break line of sight, add some decor, give them some different territories and some things to break line of sight in the tank. The second thing would be, if you've got that in there already, and what I normally do is I'll pull everything out of the tank. I'll do a big old water change. I'll get them all riled up, and I'll put everything back in places. I'll disrupt their territories, and I'll make them kind of start over to try and break up some of that aggression. That usually helps, typically speaking, for me anyways. Ed, do you have any advice on that particular one?
I'm sorry, I went mute just so you guys wouldn't hear the train.
Oh, gotcha. Young Fish Aquatics was asking about his fire mouths being aggressive towards his jack, and Oscar is also being a bit aggressive. My advice was, if you don't have if you don't have decor in there, add some decor to give them different territories and break line of sight. And then if you do have decor, what I like to do is pull all that out, do a big water change, put it all back in there in different spots, and kind of make them reset with their territories and give them good line of sight breaks.
Sounds great. I've never been a huge big fish guy, so I feel really bad when a big fish dies, so I try to stick with the little ones that mass produce. And James has a lot of big ones, so.
I do, and I've got some very odd mixes. But you can kind of see I've got several Beischer in with my angelfish here. Again, it's one of those what works for me may not work for you things, but there are definitely some things you can do that are outside the realm of, I guess, entry-level fish keeping recommendations. That being said, things do happen. I came home from work and went to check all the fish rooms as I normally do, and noticed that my biggest Oscar had my red-tailed cat halfway down his throat. So that was not cool, and I found it odd that there were a lot of fish that were smaller in the tank than that red tail, so I don't know why in particular he chose to try to eat that red tail. I don't know if it was an aggression thing, that maybe the red tail was poking at him or something. Stuff does happen, and I try and keep full transparency.
Did they both make it?
The Oscar did. The red tail did not. So we went out and buried him in the yard, and my little one sat out there and cried for about 30 minutes. Was not happy about that. Neither was I, but things do happen. Sometimes it's just out of nowhere. There's no problems. Like I said, there are a lot of smaller fish that you would think he would have tried to eat prior to that. So I don't know if he just bite out of aggression, and then because he went in head first, the barbs got his fins got stuck. I don't know, but the Oscar's fine. So just always monitor your fish. You never know what's going to happen, but there are some things that you can do that work for some people that don't for others.
Yeah, I've found that like the Bishers are very gentle as long as it can't fit in its mouth. So, yep. I mean, basically anything that it knows that it's not going to have to destroy to eat, it just leaves alone. Or because I've got a couple of them and they just leave everything alone. But I know if it was small, they would just gobble it. I mean, I'll drop a whole block of bloodworms in, and I mean, they can just suck the whole thing down in one gulp. So I know it could do damage. And then I've also he likes to eat right from my little squeezy thing that I squirt shrimp into the tank. And I can feel like he has teeth on that thing because sometimes he bites down on it and it's like, sheesh. But
yeah. I want to say real quick, a huge thank you to Chronicles Fish Room with the $7 Canadian super sticker. Says, good job with the thumbs up, Fox. Chris, I thank you very, very much for that. I think that you think we're doing a good job. We try and provide a fun show. Sometimes it's more entertaining than educational and vice versa, but it's always hopefully fun and enjoyable for everybody.
Yeah, like one thing we normally do is we give an update of all the events going on, and because everything's been canceled, we can't do that right now. But we plan to be more informative once things get back to rolling like normal. At least we're not into the sports industry and where we have nothing to talk about. I turned on the sports channel today on the radio, and they were talking about movies from the 80s. So we're lucky in that way.
I want to bring up again Recon 330 saying, also giant thanks to River Life for the time slot. Be sure to check him out as well and posting the link for his channel. Absolutely 100%. Please check him out. And like I said, he recently got his memberships approved as well. So great guy, great channel. And I can't thank him enough for letting us do the time slot takeover tonight.
Yep. Mr. Zen dropped a $20 super chat, and unfortunately I can't read it because all I see is a thing at the top.
Gotcha. I just hadn't quite gotten there. Mr. Zen, the other half of the Zen Ginger Mr. Zen team there, says, hello everyone, don't forget that thumbs up. Thank you. Huge thank you, Mr. Zen. Always a pleasure to see you. I haven't got to talk to you a whole lot. I hope you're doing well. Feel free to shoot me a message on Messenger when you're back on there again, because I was enjoying that art that you were doing. It was looking really, really good. But thank you very, very much for that, Mr. Zen. Also, the the Sarah Onip tabs that these guys are eating on back here were actually sent in for Mr. Zen and the Zen Ginger. So this feeding brought to you by the Zens.
Speaking of Sarah Onip tabs, did you see Corey's stream tonight?
I did.
And did you hear what he said about them?
Yeah, so I am actually going to go buy quite a few of those while there's still the old formula. I guess this would be.
If you could pick me up one or two with 100 packs at the aquarium, that'd be awesome.
I'm actually going to recommend that you order them through my Amazon link.
Oh, okay.
I actually order them online versus going up to that particular store. But I would be happy to snag some for you when I'm doing my order.
Oh, that's cool. And I'll pay you for it later.
Mr. Zen with the $10 super chat saying, yes, I am alive. I'm glad. I was worried. I thought Miss Zen, the Zen Ginger, might have taken you out with everything going on with the quarantine and whatnot. So it's good to hear from you, buddy. And thank you very, very much again. Always a huge supporter of the channel, and that does not go unnoticed or unappreciated. It's
also good to see that he's still wearing his suit.
Yes.
He's the best dressed man in the fish fam.
He is. I love their I want to say avatars, their logos. The Zen Ginger and Mr. Zen, very, very cool. And there is, oh, where did it go? I see a member up at the top. Let me see if I can find it. Mr. Zen, welcome to Snowball. Again, Mr. Zen, thank you. Can't say thank you enough. Very much appreciate that. I'm looking forward to doing the special members only things. And again, we'll talk about that more on the Saturday Night Fever live stream. And that goes on at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every week on Saturdays. And I'm also releasing a video specifically about memberships. But I wanted to do the announcement first before I release that video. Anthony's Fishy Friend says, I didn't catch that. What's going on with the Sarah ONIP tabs? So what Corey is saying is they've switched all of their products, or at least the ONIP tabs and most of their products, but I think it was all of their products. Sarah's switching over to natural. So, of course, Corey, being the awesome guy that he is, had to do product testing on the new tabs. And they're just a lot junkier than the old tabs. Like these old tabs, they hold up really well in the water. They slowly dissolve. He had some video of the new tabs right next to the old tabs, and the new tabs just kind of crumble and fall apart in the water much more rapidly, much quicker. So definitely want to get on the old ones while they are still available. And a huge thank you to Corey at Aquarium Co-op for doing the product testing like he does. Just all around awesome guy.
I can see the advantage, though, to having something that just powders up and deteriorates for small fry. Like if you'd have a fry tank filled with just, well, fry, right, it might be great. But I don't know if I'd buy 100 or box of them for that.
Right, absolutely. And Bob Kaler's Aquatic says, watch expiration dates on food. Absolutely, 100% right. If you've only got one fish tank, you may not want to buy, 10 or 20 of these things, which this is 265 tabs. This is actually what the Zens sent me. Thank you again for that. But given that I've got, almost 50 aquariums up at this point, I could definitely go through them before they expired, which these have until 2022. So I could definitely work through many bottles of those in 2 years' time.
For sure.
Anthony's Fishy Friend says, wow, that's horrible. What's the key to know if they are new or old? I would assume, and I don't know for sure, and you may know better than myself, but I would assume the new packaging is going to say something like all natural. It's going to have different packaging on it, if I had to guess.
It is supposed to be new packaging, which in it'll say all natural. They think that that's going to appeal to the millennials in America and everybody in Europe.
Absolutely. Let's see. Where was it? Kaler's Aquatics says, a couple of people asked how to become a member. So I've not yet found a link. I know if you close the live chat directly below the window where we are talking, you'll see an option that says join, and then you can select which level you would like to join in at. And it will show you the perks for those levels. We do have different things set up. But I don't want to take all of tonight's stream just to talk about the membership levels, especially given the opportunity that we've gotten from Rack and the promotion from John at KG. I didn't want it to be a promotional stream, if you will, and just talking about, hey, these are my new membership levels. So
yeah, it was just dumb luck that it all worked out today.
It was. I got a message yesterday. I actually came on to upload. What was it? Did I upload? Yeah, I uploaded the video yesterday, and then I needed to set up the stream for today. And when I went to pull the thumbnail up to set this stream up, I had a notification that it was available. And then I will check that link, Zen Ginger, and see if it does. Sorry, she sent me a link to see if that works for the memberships.
And well, while he's looking at that, in 2 weeks, the Nocturnal Show is going to probably be going over to my channel. Hopefully, my fish room will be done by then, and we'll be able to do the switch over. So the Thursday nights will be on mine, and James will still be going on Saturday.
Yes, I will still do the Saturday night live streams.
Is that the only other one that you have, or do you have a?
It is. That's the only scheduled.
Okay.
I have been kind of popping on for some more random live streams like I used to. I used to just pop on 4 or 5 times a week, and then I tried to get to the more edited style and more scheduled style. But I'm kind of miss doing the random stuff and then just spur of the moment, hey, I'm going to pop on live and talk to people. So I'm doing more of that. I'm also doing lives on Instagram now. I've done a couple. I'm going to be doing some more if it's things that I don't really feel are, I guess you could say, worthy of a YouTube live stream, so to speak, or if it's going to be a shorter one, I'll pop on Instagram and do a live stream on there and talk to people and kind of just brainstorm ideas and whatnot. Trying to get my chat back up. I lost it when I clicked that link.
That's fine. James is still going to be, though, hanging out. We're going to do the same show. We're just going to get it so maybe I can get my numbers up a little bit and do some stuff.
Absolutely.
Because we're kind of we wanted to try to be like DJs, or maybe we're like VJs, or maybe Fish J. I don't know. I was going to go Fish J's.
We're what happens when anybody with a camera is allowed to have a YouTube channel.
Basically.
All right. I got my chat back. Let me hit live chat here so I'm not missing anything. And all right, looks like I am back. Mark Von Wisco says, bummed about the Sarah Onips. My fish go into a feeding frenzy whenever I feed them. Yes, absolutely. The tetras love them. The guppies love them. The angels, the grommies, and everything loves them. So I'm definitely going to get several of the larger containers before I'm not able to find those anymore.
Now, have you ever given those to your larger fish? Because I've been like afraid to put them in like my Akara tank with all those guys, because I'm afraid they'd actually pull it right off and just choke on it.
Well, I'm not had any choke, but I have had the Bysters go after it before, and also the Gibiceps plecos. They've taken over sometimes. Normally they would, but I've actually moved the Gibiceps plecos from this tank down into the bottom tank that's just below off camera that you can't see. But normally they would try and get up there and take the thing over.
I like them for my guppy tanks. When I leave town, I can let whoever's taking care of my guppies, I just say stick 2 of those in on the side of the tank each day, and it works great. So they aren't overfeeding, they're not underfeeding. Everybody stays alive. The guppies seem to have a little bit harder time eating it than like the mollies, and the little bit bigger fish. Angels can finish them off real fast, but the guppies take a while, so I think it just works really well with them.
So Holterman Aquatic says, what's the best adjustable heater for a 2.5 gallon betta tank? I was thinking a Cobalt Northern or a Hydor 25 watt. What do you guys recommend for nano tanks? Do you have one specifically that you would like to recommend before I go into my?
I don't. That small of a tank, I wouldn't know. I try to find a warm place to keep them instead of actually using like a platter or a little bitty, job.
Absolutely. So I don't have an adjustable one to recommend. That being said, they do make some very, very small ones that automatically regulate the temperature. I've got 2 different kinds. I've got one that's your standard. Like the one I've got here is an Aqueon. It's in the tank next to me. And it's automatically set. I forget what it is, 76 or 70. It's automatically regulating the temperature. And then I've got a couple that are actually, they look almost like the underpad heaters that you would get for like a reptile, but they're an actual in the tank flat rubber pad that's maybe 1/4 of an inch thick. And they're just a very, very low wattage that I've got in some of my guppy tanks in the other room at the moment. Just to kind of, they don't really need the heat in there, but to slightly bump up production, if you will, on some new strains. But I do not have an adjustable recommendation. Of course, any of your major brands are almost a definite. You've got your Aqueons. Like I said, the Cobalt, I've heard good things about. Goodness, there's so many companies that make heaters. You really don't need that much for 2.5 gallon, 25 watts, more than adequate. That's way up at the high. The typical recommendation is 3 to 5 watts per gallon. So 25 watts is definitely enough to keep you covered. I would just make sure that you kind of keep it towards the lower end to make sure that it's not going to cook anything when you first get it set up, and adjust upwards instead of adjusting downwards.
You know, I'm just going to throw this out, kind of like I threw Griff under the bus earlier and made him help someone. Priscilla, I know she has lots of beta in her store, so if she's still in chat, she might be able to recommend a heater. Big J, I don't know if I've seen Big J. I'm thinking of people that work in a store that might sell a lot of them, and so they probably get a lot of returns, the bad ones. So they'd probably give us, the guys that use them every day, not necessarily use them, but see other people using them, would probably be the best resource to find out what the best one is. Oh, jeepers, I don't know if we have Big J or Priscilla in here anymore.
I don't know that we do. I'm not seeing him at the moment. So Bob Keller's Aquatics has discovered that for his particular iPhone, memberships do not work. So he needed to use his desktop. Thank you, Bob, for investigating on that. I was kind of assuming it was an iPhone thing, but given that I am one of those Android people, I wasn't 100% certain. Because I know normally on Android it's not a problem. Mr. Fish Sir Brad says, Fish Room Fever, the puppy wants to be in your video. Yeah, sorry about the yippy yapping. Two puppies, they get a little noisy sometimes, but it seems like they have not settled in. Never mind.
Priscilla's back, and she was doing the dishes, and she wonders what our question was. Can you recommend a heater for a 2.5 gallon beta tank for us? Figuring that you probably know the most about small heaters because you probably see the most out of everybody here. And if there's anybody else that works at a fish store that might know.
Absolutely. Mark von Wisco says Aquion's preset heaters are set at 78. That sounds absolutely correct. Now that I'm thinking back to the instruction manual that came with that.
Okay.
I think I'm caught up on anybody. Words are hard. I think I'm caught up on everybody. Big J's Fish Keeper says, I like the one Fish from Fever was talking about for the guppies. Let's see. All right. I am caught up at the bottom. So if you do have a question or somehow I missed your question earlier, feel free to throw that in there. We've got about 10 more minutes, and then we are going to turn it over to Kenny at Daniken Aquatics, who is covering our time slot, but moving up an hour to cover Chris because Chris is taking the night off. Due to
happy anniversary, Chris.
Yeah, happy. I wasn't going to throw it out there because I didn't know if he cared or not. But yes, happy anniversary, Chris. It's his anniversary, so he wanted the night off. I can understand that. Got to keep the missus happy. And thank you to Miss Fever in the chat, Shy Gal, for helping answer questions and with links and all of those wonderful things. Zen Ginger had mentioned possibly getting her to do a live stream. That is definitely something that was discussed in regards to the members only live stream. Zen had the idea of being able to grill the Fevers, to have Miss Fever and myself on the live stream, and the members be able to ask whatever questions they wanted to. So
that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
I like the idea of maybe a grill, like barbecue grill, and we just have
right.
hot dogs
Well,
and hamburgers.
She's the for anybody that's new to the channel, I want to say thank you to everybody. There's so many new names in here. Normally I try and go through and address everybody as they come in, but we would have spent the whole hour doing that. So thank you very much to everybody, new and old. I appreciate you being here. But for anybody that doesn't know, Miss Fever is also in the hobby. She's several of the tanks that are set up for hers. She is the African cichlid person. When it comes to the African cichlids, all those questions get directed to her. She's the one, if the LFS gets something in and they're not familiar with it or don't know what it is, they're like, hey, can you ID this fish for me? And she's like, yeah, it's this right here. It's an HB 203 from whatever. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, but she's our third person on the show that you don't see. She's like our programmer.
Zen Ginger, thank you for throwing that up there. Said if you buy a heater on Amazon, please use the FRF links to get there. That is very much appreciated. It's an easy way to support the channel without it costing you anything extra if you use any of my Amazon affiliate links, because legal disclaimer that I have to give, I get financial compensation when you use my Amazon links.
Have another train coming. Gosh.
And yeah, Zen says grill the fevers or grill with the fevers, either or. Bob Kaler of Kaler's Aquatics, welcome to Bristol Nose. Thank you very much, Bob, for becoming a member. Very awesome of you, sir. Bob Kaler, I owe a huge thanks to him as well. He was actually the first YouTuber that I met back when I first started the channel in September. Welcomed me into the community, introduced me to Chattanooga Ed, and kind of helped me get the ball rolling with my channel. So if you've not checked him out, go check out his channel. He just recently hit his 4,000 watch hours. Congratulations on that, Bob. So he should have his monetization coming through any time now. Couldn't think of a more deserving person for it to happen to. So thank you very much for that and for your support, as always, Bob, at Kaler's Aquatics. Zach Thor says, should I quarantine new aquarium plants? So you can do a dip on your plants. Generally speaking, when people are getting aquarium plants, they're getting them from an LFS or from an aquarium plant supplier. And usually a dip is just fine. If you're getting them, if you're going out and collecting them from the wild, I would recommend a quarantine the dip as well, but also kind of putting them in their own quarantine. It's never going to hurt if you've got the space and you've got the time. You're not trying to get something set up immediately. It's not going to hurt to quarantine them. But usually you could just give them a dip. And there are a lot of different methods on plant dipping. And you should be good to go from there. But I mean, it doesn't hurt to quarantine them.
I am keeping a tank that's nothing but a planted tank. So whenever I see a pretty plant, I can buy it and I throw it in there and figure out where I'm going to put it. And I mean, I'm going to have a lot of tanks I'm going to start flooding. So that's why I've got so many plants in there right now. But I still plan on keeping it running and just growing plants out. Because, like if something buds off, I can stick it in a pot and start growing it. So it's kind of fun. I really like it. I saw my first, I've seen people use potted plants in their tanks, but the guy who gave me the idea was Jason from Redfish Bluefish. He's awesome. He has a live show at 10:30 Eastern on Friday nights. And he's kind of like a botanist scientist because he does all sorts of crazy stuff with plants. But I'm really enjoying having like my own little plant tank where I'm going to be able to pull out plants whenever I want. And I'm just going to start chucking them in all the time. The main thing is I want to make sure that I don't get any duckweed in it, just so I can get maximum white in there. And then if I do CO2, I'll just do CO2 in that tank to make things grow quick.
So Nathan asks, are there any drawbacks on UV sterilizers? I've only used a UV sterilizer once many years ago. I think the biggest thing, and I'm no expert, it's been a long time since I've used them, but I think the biggest thing is going to be your placement on where it's sterilizing. So if it's in a spot that's going to be hitting beneficial bacteria, that's a no-go. But in terms, I mean, I guess one of the drawbacks could be bulb replacement. I don't know what they're pricing at now. I know back then that was fairly expensive just to replace the darn bulb on the things when they blew out. And a lot of times you didn't even know when they were blown out unless you were manually checking it. But that was also being used on a saltwater setup years and years and years ago. So, full disclosure, I don't have a whole lot of experience with the UV sterilizers, and that's about the best answer I can personally give to you, Nathan.
Oh, what was the question about you? I've
been drawbacks on UV sterilizers.
When I first started plants, I was growing way too much algae in my tank, and I was turning it to a green tank because I had all these little plants and I wanted them to grow big. And before I could get them big, I had that problem. And I bought the big green killing machine, I think it's what it's called, and it was amazing. It destroyed all the green water super fast, and now I just have it in a box in case it ever happens again. But I know sometimes people will even use them in their ponds outside because the sun, you just can't stop. But it worked great for me. The green machine, I think is what it was called, or the green killing machine. And it worked great. But I wasn't paying attention to you because did you see that Bob Kaler is now a new member?
He did, yeah. I thought I thanked him. I thanked him in my head. I said, "Welcome to Bob." If I didn't somehow, yeah, because that was where I went into talking about how he introduced me to you and the fish
Okay.
fin. Yeah, I was
Well,
like, surely I didn't do all that in my head.
he also just donated $2.
He did, and thank you very much for that, Bob. Before I got down to that, I want to say Priscilla brought up a very valid point, and I've seen this happen before. Priscilla MKR says, if you do buy a heater via FRF link on Amazon, do not buy an adjustable heater from overseas under 50 watts. They are not safe. Yes, so I don't have any of those linked, but if you happen to go through one of my links and come across one of those, because it just leads you into the open world of Amazon once you click on one of the links, absolutely don't get the under 50 watt overseas heaters, because I've seen a lot of issues out of the cheap junky knockoffs.
Well, I'm gonna thank Dan Slee, because he said, Chattanooga Ed, when your fish room is ready, let me know and I'll send you a plant care package.
Ooh,
and
awesome.
that'd be super cool. Hopefully I don't kill them. I'll do my best to keep them alive.
That is very nice, Dan.
Put the name on the, if you don't mind, on the package, so that way I can look them up, so I make sure that I do the right things to them.
And thank you, Bob Kaler, for that $2 super sticker with the unboxing image. Very, very cool. I know Bob, didn't Bob just do an unboxing? I try and keep up with all of Bob's videos, but Bob is
he did an art unboxing, and it was Priscilla's art.
That's what it was. I say he posts almost every day. He's got awesome stuff that comes out, but it's hard to keep everything adjusted in my head as to when it came out. I'll be like, oh, Bob just did that, but it was a video 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, he put out one today, and I'm going to have to watch it when I'm done with all the live streams tonight.
Absolutely.
So sometimes I'm behind.
And then I'm going to be filming the unboxing of the guppies that I ordered online from somebody I'd not heard of before. I stumbled across their videos on Instagram. So I'll be doing a shout out to them in the video as well. Beautiful quality guppies. So I'm looking forward to that and hope you all check that out tomorrow.
I'm going to give another shout out for a guy that's not here. Is Doug Gray.
Yes.
I absolutely love that guy. And he put out a video today too. So I'm going to, after I'm all done with the live streams, I'm going to watch Bob and Doug Gray's. It's D Gray is his channel name, but he is a IFG winning guppy breeder who has some super funny jokes, and well, actually they're kind of nerdy jokes, but I love them. So just another guy, if you ever want to check out some guppies. He breeds a lot, and he tries to mix breed and stuff, and pretty cool.
Absolutely. So I'm going to burn through here real quick because we've only got about 2 minutes left, and I do want to thank all the members and super chatters. Thank you, DMC, for the thumbs up on the dirted tank. I had fun with that. Minimum tank size for Ranchu or Lionhead. If somebody hasn't answered that in the chat already, I'll throw it in the chat after we end the stream. That way we can get you an answer. Leech eggs. If I didn't get to your question, I'm sorry. Now there are a bunch of questions. If you want to jump over to Daniken's stream that's going to start in about a minute, we can definitely get those questions answered in there via Daniken and us in the chat as well. Real quick, I want to run through and say thank you to everybody. And I see Mr. Zen through another super chat up. But starting from the top, welcome Zen Ginger, Jess the Shrimp Granny, Priscilla MK Art, who then upgraded her membership as well, Sand Creek Aquatics, Pet Zotics, Ginger Graves, Moonstone, the Zen Ginger with the $1 super chat, Priscilla Art with the $2 super chat, another new member, Daniken Aquatics, the Zen Ginger with another $2 super chat, Aquariums maintained by Andy with the $2, the Zen Ginger with another $2, Chronicles of Chris's Fish Room, thank you for the $7 Canadian super sticker, Mr. Zen with the $20, followed by the $10 super chat, which was then followed by his membership as well. Bob Kaler, Kaler's Aquatics with the membership. Thank you, Bob. And then the $2 super sticker behind that. And that should lead me to Mr. Zen's, which it won't pull up in that, but I see it in here. Mr. Zen with the $10 super chat saying, yeah, thank you, Bob. So I'm not going to run over my time. So real quick, I want to say thank you very much to everybody who showed up tonight. I really appreciate you. We do a 2-hour stream every week on Thursday night, so come check us out there. All the members, super chatters, much appreciated. All the new faces, thank you, Chattanooga Ed, for co-hosting with me. And, of course, a huge, huge thank you to Rack at the River Life. Please go check out his channel if you have not already. Appreciate you giving up the time slot for this week. So what we're going to do, if we could, yep, and the link is
You
in
know
the
what?
chat. Yes, sir.
Can I say one thing?
Go right
Is
ahead.
if anybody doesn't know about the fishroomfever.com, we also have a place where people in our fish fam that are in need that have Patreons or different things on there. And it also has a whole lineup of everyday's videos, like of people that, and it's not everybody, but whoever wants to give us their information, we put it on there so you can see that too. Makes it real easy all in one spot. Sorry, just wanted to throw that out there.
No, I appreciate that, Ed, and it's good information. So let's go check out Kenny at Daniken Aquatics, an awesome streamer. I appreciate everybody. So until next time, keep your fish healthy, keep yourselves healthy, and catch yourself.